Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of It Remains to Be Seen, where we talk about a wide variety of things, ranging from missing persons to crimes to other mysteries. And we have a guest with us this evening on voice, Jennifer VanDalsen. I pronounced that correct, right, Jennifer?
Yes.
And we're going to be discussing a case involving her child, Alex, who the case was not handled correctly by the sound of it. And um, if anybody, as you're listening out here in the chat, if you have any questions pertaining to this, please feel free to ask. But just please remember to be respectful and considerate, as this is a very sensitive topic. It may be a triggering topic as well, for those who might be out here watching or listening, and so just please be advised on that. Um, we don't want anybody to come into anything, without that knowledge, because typically with these shows involving true crime, um, they advised on that. They can be very triggering. And so, first of all, I'll introduce our guest Jennifer, and being that she's the guest, she's here with us. And then on the left hand, she's joining us via audio. On the left hand side of your screen is your beautiful hostess Lori, and on the right hand side of the screen is my forehead, me, Bob. Because I have to be so close to my screen. Um, so Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind, would you mind giving all of us a rundown of the situation with your case? We know that, hi Terry, or not Terry, Roy. Somebody,
Hey,
sorry,
Roy.
Roy. How is it going? Um, but for those as people come in, um, Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind giving us a bit of background, kind of starting with when everything began, and just a little bit of background about Alex and yourself. Only as much as you're comfortable sharing, and then we'll kind of proceed further from that. But just so that everybody out here, being that there really wasn't media coverage for this situation, sadly, um, let us know what you would have liked the media to know about you and Alex, and the situation, and we'll kind of ask questions along the way to gain more background, and but just let us know why you're here, and um, just fill us in on the background, and it's all yours. And you're fine out here. You're not alone. Why you're here, and
Well,
um, just fill us in on the
Alex was only
background, and
21. He still lived at home, still close to his family.
not here. You're not alone.
He was a
Why you're
good
here,
kid,
and
always wanting to make
just fill
people
us in on
smile.
the
Alex was only
background, and
21. Make people still lived at home, no matter what was going on. He could always find something goofy to do. We, the night of February 3rd, he had left in his car, came back about an hour later, and told his younger sister he was tired and going to bed. We came in from work around 2:30 that morning, so the morning of the 4th. Morgan said that Alex had said he was going to bed, so I didn't think anything about it. The next day, I looked in his room. He wasn't there, but he had routinely been having his girlfriend, Genesis, pick him up. She lived about 30 minutes from us, so she would pick him up instead of taking both cars to her house. We assumed that was what had happened until she came to the house later, um, around 7:30 p.m. on the 4th, and advised us that Alex wasn't with her. At that point, I left work around 7:30 p.m. I called the police about 10 p.m. I called 911. At 11:30, I called a second time because we still hadn't seen anybody yet. A few minutes after midnight, they showed up. Took a report, but their concern was the snow we were having, so they weren't too worried about Alex. We tried to get several local news stations to pick up the story that he was missing, get his picture out. Nobody was picking up the story. We made flyers. We were placing them at all local businesses that would let us. We were searching fields, all kinds of friends, neighbors, all out helping to search areas. We had seen on the cameras that he had left actually the night of the 3rd, about 11:45 p.m., walking. So we focused on the
You doing okay?
yeah.
Okay.
We tried to focus on the area that he had left walking in. The police gave us no assistance. We were able to find a lady who had a search dog through a friend at work. She advised the county sheriff's department that she would be coming out to do a search. So they sent 2 deputies out to assist her, one of which was very rude, condescending. In 2020, around April, they had done a wellness check on Alex, where Alex and I were both present at home. This officer was one who had came out, so he had a bad attitude. His story later was that since it was the same circumstances, he was trying to figure out what the outcome was in that situation, because that was likely going to be the outcome in this situation, which was not at all true. Alex had never taken off, never been missing. He just didn't care to help, I don't think. So they conducted the search, but unfortunately, weather and time were factors, so it didn't produce any good results. The lady that had the search dog knew and had worked with someone who had a thermal imaging drone. She made contact with him. He came out and started mapping areas around our house while we were continuing to search fields and creeks, woods. They told us to focus on a 5-mile area surrounding the house. On February 9th, the county finally assigned a detective to the case, but a city parks worker located Alex while plowing snow at about 1 p.m. that day. It was in the city limits, so initially the city police responded. It actually appeared as though they were going to start to investigate. Only a few hours in, one of the officers recognized Alex from one of the flyers. They called the county sheriff's department. The detective that had been assigned that morning responded to the scene, and at that point, everything was done and over.
Wow.
Nobody did any further investigation. They didn't look into anything else. They just said, okay, it's suicide, we're done.
Wow.
But they continued to tell me for about 8 weeks that they were investigating. They showed up at our house on February 9th at about 4 p.m. to have me ID Alex from a tattoo on his hand. They lied to me about where he was found. The detectives specifically told me that he had no trauma, no wounds. Therefore, we would have to wait for the autopsy to find out what happened.
Hmm.
Which they also said he had no driver's license on him. All the above was incorrect. He was not found at a softball field, as they said. He was found a few miles behind the softball field on some trails that a city parks worker was plowing the snow on that day. He did, in fact, have trauma, but of course, due to their lies, we planned the funeral based off of what they told us.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday morning, when he was released to the funeral home, the funeral director, whom I've known for a lot of years, called me, said, "Hey, we've got some issues." "Why? What happened?" He says, "Well, what were you told?" I restated the same thing I told him when we initially planned the funeral. They told us there were no signs of trauma, so we had no idea what happened. We had to wait for the autopsy. At that point, he advised me that we had to come back to the funeral home and replan everything, as that was not the case at all. Alex had a
Wow.
gunshot wound, and they were unsure if we would be able to have an open casket for his funeral.
Oh
But
my goodness.
we at least had to go pick a different casket and a different liner and change the services that were planned.
I'm sorry.
You shouldn't have to plan your kid's funeral once, let alone twice.
Yeah, I agree.
That frustrated me, but my hope was that the detective had a reason for lying to us. My hope was that he didn't want details out there because he was actually investigating, which I later found out was not true. Um, when I was finally able to obtain the reports from the county sheriff's department, that detective specifically noted that he was done with Alex's case when he notified me that it was up to the city to investigate. But the city said that Alex was reported missing to the county. Therefore, once they called the county in, it was up to the county.
Bureaucratic red tape, so to speak.
Pretty much. Or
I'm
just an
sorry.
excuse to blame the other.
Yeah, yeah, that typically happens a lot as well. Really sorry.
Yeah, that's definitely terrible.
Yeah, it really is. So they were saying that it was a suicide. I was looking at the autopsy report today. But you feel that you have reason to believe that it wasn't, and the way that that situation was handled, it seemed like it was just kind of like you would experience with a fast food restaurant. It was like in and out, and they were done.
Yes.
Are you comfortable talking about your thoughts on the matter? And it's okay. I
Yeah.
can hear in your voice, and it's okay to be, it's okay to have those emotions. Don't talk about anything that you don't feel comfortable talking about, but it's okay to have those emotions. It's okay to process that. And if anybody was to judge you for that out here, they're going to be out of here real fast.
Oh, yeah. I'm okay.
Okay.
I just, it's amazing to me the things that they failed to do. My biggest concern with the autopsy was the coroner's office said they did a full autopsy. The sheriff's department said they did not because they only did an autopsy of his head. He had presumably been out in the weather, which was below freezing and snowing for several days.
Mm-hmm.
So the sheriff's department claimed that even 2 days after he was found, his body was still frozen and they were unable to perform an autopsy.
Oh my goodness.
But the coroner noted that the entrance wound was considerably larger than the exit, which seems very backwards.
Yeah.
I'm not a rocket scientist, but I do have a bachelor's degree in criminology. I did study that field for a little while. And knowing about firearms, I have never seen one produce a larger entrance than exit wound.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense as to why they would come to that conclusion. It sounds like the ball was dropped in a lot of places there.
A lieutenant with the city that I had an email exchange with admitted to me that he also felt the way that I did, that Alex's body was posed,
If
but claimed that once they received further detail, they no longer believed that, but he would not state what further detail. To me, that was, well, once we called the county in, they said, nah, suicide, close it, be done. So we just skipped everything that we thought we knew, everything that we saw at the scene, and said, yeah, forget it.
now, I
They
believe
did
that.
not.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I believe that we have that email correspondence. Is that okay for us to share on screen here, or would you rather us not? It's totally okay if
That's
not.
fine.
Okay,
You can share it.
I'm gonna grab that. You go on ahead. I'm gonna grab that and just kind of scroll through that as you're talking.
Yeah, when he quit answering, he don't think that he could find any more ways to try to cover up what they failed to do. Both departments want to blame the other, and I think it's more of a fact that they were both a little complacent and uncaring. I give the city credit. They did seem to start in the right fashion, but once they saw the ability to hand it off and not do anything else, they took it.
That's really terrible. I mean, I was talking, sorry. I didn't realize I had my thing muted. That's. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, so you were told they were investigating, but they weren't.
Yeah, for approximately 6 to 8 weeks, I was told by the county detective that he was still investigating. But I called him at least once a week, if not more. He continually told me that he was looking at everything. He was looking at how Alex got from home to the location just over 10 miles away from home. He was checking Alex's phone that I had given them. And then about 3 weeks after I had gotten a copy of the autopsy report, I asked him if he was still investigating or if he was closing the case due to what the autopsy said. He advised me that the case was still open. He was still investigating, as the autopsy report was not final or available yet. I explained to him that I had had a copy of the autopsy for almost 3 weeks, would gladly bring him a copy or email it to him if he would like. He refused, told me that that was impossible as the autopsy was not complete. I asked if he was holding the case open so that I could not get a copy of his reports. He simply made the excuse again that they did not have the autopsy report, therefore it was still open. It was about another week before he agreed to having the autopsy report and saying he was closing the case so that I could request copies of the reports.
Mm-hmm. What was the temperature like the day that Alex had left? Like, what was the temperature around that time?
I believe it was around 15 to 20 degrees the night of the 3rd when he left. And the next night when we were out searching, it was like a real feel of around 4 or 5 degrees with 25-mile-an-hour winds. Quite a bit of snow on the ground. Alex had asthma, so he couldn't have walked that far without his inhaler, which was at home.
And he didn't take anything with him either, right?
No, he left his car, his phone, his wallet, his keys, his glasses, which he didn't have very good vision, so he needed the glasses. But they were left here, as well as his inhaler. He had on a pair of jeans with sweatpants over them, a long sleeve black shirt, and a black hoodie sweatshirt over it.
I'm reading in the emails, and it mentions how there were tracks out there that seemed to be snow covered, which seems indicative that there was at least another person out there.
Yes. And the fact that they supposedly searched for 2 hours with a metal detector for a shell casing and could not locate one.
Yes, I saw that in the autopsy report that there was no findings of the bullets, which is really strange.
They did not even inventory the gun that was found at the scene. They didn't check to see if it had a magazine in it, if it was loaded, if it was missing any. They did not run it for ownership, even. All they
Wow.
did was run it to see if it was reported lost or stolen.
Yeah, they should have checked for ownership. I mean,
They tried to tell me that they did not check for ownership because I told them Alex took a handgun from home, which was a flat out lie. I told every officer the first thing that I looked for was our handguns that were in the house. They were still locked in the gun safe. Alex didn't have the code. It's a 6-digit electronic lock. He did not have the code to get in it. It was still locked, but I opened it, verified all of ours were still in it, and gave them that information.
wow.
And I don't know if you want to talk about this out here or not, but is there any reasons why you feel that they didn't want to investigate? Like, that it just wasn't a priority to them?
I don't know if it's because Alex was transgender and some people don't agree with that, don't like it, whatever it might be. I don't know if it was that or uh, the one officer clearly had a bad attitude about Alex because he had came here a year prior to do a wellness check. So I don't know if they just felt they were being bothered. Wasn't somebody that they knew, wasn't their problem.
Hmm.
That's really a
That's
shame.
terrible. It's terrible that, you had a missing child and they didn't want to, the media didn't want to do anything about it or anything to get his name out there to help find him.
Yeah, the police could have given us the information for the lady with the search dog, the gentleman with the drone, and we would have been able to make contact with them well before we did, which would have resulted in better search odds. But they chose not to. And I have no idea why the lady with the search dog even complained because they had just helped the police department with a missing mother and child a week prior. So they can't say that they didn't know her.
Right. So I'm gonna go to our comments here in the chat. There are a few out here right now. So Janice, I don't believe she's been out here before, but Janice is terrible. So sorry. Greg, who's one of our oh, there's Kevin. First, he said my deepest condolences and prayers. Greg says so. He walked 10 miles in the cold to kill himself. Yeah, something is fishy. Um,
Yeah,
Kevin says, sorry, I just got here. Um, where did this all take place? This was over in Indiana. Um, won't mention the specific city. Just um, for I mean, unless you feel like disclosing that. I know you talked to us about it beforehand, but if that's
yeah,
not something,
it's Lafayette, Indiana.
okay,
I recently started one of Alex's friends wanted me to start a Justice for Alex Blake Facebook group. Not very good at all this stuff, um, but I did start the group.
let me go and grab that.
I more prefer to hide in the shadows and not be well known. So this is
You're
very
doing okay.
different.
Yeah, it's understandable. Just know you're not alone out here, and we're here for you.
I
I mean,
feel
this
like
isn't.
Alex's story needs out there because maybe the police would care if the media would have bothered.
Yeah, and it's really a shame because
They
the
actually
meat.
have text messages from somebody at WLFI, which is our local news.
Hmm.
They reached out to me after Alex was found deceased, wanting to know why the sheriff's department did not give them the information that he was missing when he was missing.
Wow,
Well, gee, I'd like to know that too. And then they said they wanted to do a story. And then, like so many other people in all this, they just suddenly no longer answer me.
that's so terrible. I know with the media, it's like they typically want to go for um, they want to go for what's going to get them the highest ratings. And it's ridiculous because Alex matters. Your situation matters. I'm gonna share the link to the Facebook group. If you're okay with that out here in our chat for anybody who is interested in joining out there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you need any help with your group and stuff like that, I'd be glad to help. I mean, I have a couple of groups that we do run.
Mhm.
I'm,
Mhm.
I'm honestly terrible at all this.
We can. We'd be glad to help over there how we can too. I mean, I'm not a pro, and I started working this week, so time is a bit different. But I'd be glad to help there how I can too. If you need somebody more on the technical side,
I appreciate it very much.
anytime. Again, you're not alone in this. Unfortunately, the media they dropped the ball. It sounds like that the investigators dropped the ball. The Facebook group link that is there in the chat for anybody who would like to go and join and show your support. Unfortunately, yeah. So Janice says, we appreciate you sharing this story. I haven't heard of this, and it's sad because you know the media covers what they want to cover, and
Yeah.
they, in a lot of cases, they cover who they think are going to bring them the most ratings and things like that. And let's see, Kevin asks, what can we do to help you and support you?
I honestly don't know. I'm just trying to get a story out there in the hopes that somebody comes forward with information.
And one thing, not you know, um, for those of you who are watching this, if you wouldn't mind sharing this out there so the story can get out there, I mean that's definitely a big thing. The Justice for Alex Blake VanDalsen group. Um, be sure to go out there and join as well and show some support. Maybe just offer up your prayers and good thoughts because this is, I mean, I can hear it in Jennifer's voice, and I can't imagine what it's like to be going through this. Um, and for those of you out here in the chat, just showing kindness and things, we appreciate that. Lori and I as a channel, the channel creators out here appreciate that because that's the kind of environment that we want to continue to have where people such as Jennifer can come out here and share these experiences and not feel judged or anything like that, not feel under pressure, um, and to be able to talk openly about the things that she would like to talk about. So thank you all out there for helping to set the tone for the environment. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? I mean, it sounds like that these officials just dropped the ball and it didn't get the case didn't get the attention that it deserved because the media it just seemed like I don't know if maybe they contacted the sheriff's department and the sheriff's department gave them their synopsis and they said, oh yeah, there are other cases out there to cover, this one's been resolved, when there are very fishy circumstances here.
Yeah, it's all been very strange. Everybody that reached out afterwards saying that they wanted to do a story on it, or I had reached out to someone who had helped while Alex was missing, and I was hitting nothing but brick walls with both police departments. So I reached out to them again. They said, "Oh yeah, if you've got the reports and the autopsy, I can send them to other professionals that I've worked with previously." And a week and a half, they'll give us their review of Alex's case. He kept in touch with me. I emailed everything. He said that he received it, forwarded it on. We kept in touch the next week at about the time that he had said he would have the review back from the other professionals. He cut off all contact. Wouldn't answer a text
Wow.
message, wouldn't answer a phone call, an email, nothing. It's like I didn't exist.
Oh my gosh. I'm so
I
sorry.
can't imagine. That's crazy.
Um, Kevin, Kevin Purney in our chat said, would a private investigator be an option that might help? Maybe a fundraising effort to help to cover the cost.
I reached out to a few private detectives, but um, one said that it would be a minimum of 10 grand for them to take the case,
Hmm.
and that they felt like the best odds were to exhume Alex and have a private autopsy done. And I don't
Wow.
know if I could do that. I think that our county has the information that somebody would need, but they have denied me access to it. They didn't like me asking questions. So once I started asking the questions, they cut off all communication, denied all my requests for photos of the scene. They initially they had initially lied about where he was found. So the day that I was notified, when I went to where he was found later, or where they said he was found, it was a bad joke. That's not where he was found at.
Wow.
And they had told us that he didn't have his driver's license. So we were in the hopes that if we could locate where he was found at, we could search that area. If they didn't, and I think by the time we discovered the accurate location, too much time had passed. And then I also later found out that he did have his driver's license on him.
Wow.
Not sure why they told me he didn't. I asked for his clothes back. I asked who had them. Um, County and the city both denied ever having ownership of his belongings. Coroner's
And
office couldn't tell me what happened to him. All that was released to the funeral home were his boots.
Oh my goodness.
right, so you don't have any. They didn't do an autopsy on his body. It was just done on his head, right? So that
Right.
you don't know if there was any other issues, being that they said that
Correct.
Um,
So yeah,
Go ahead, hon.
I was going to say you're going to address chat.
Yeah, Kevin was asking about, or no, Greg, kind of echoing Kevin about a fundraiser. Greg was saying, that's what I was thinking. Maybe a GoFundMe for a private investigator. Um, Greg says I saw on her post, they know someone picked him up, probably. Um, so do they have evidence, or just going on um, since that he could have not walked in the cold?
He was 90 pounds and all of 5 feet tall. We don't
It's
have anything concrete to
yeah.
say that he didn't walk that distance. Um, but I was very stupid when all this began because I actually thought when he was found that the police were investigating.
No, you weren't
So
stupid. You were going through a trauma, and you believed what
Exactly.
was going on. What was going on? Don't be too hard on yourself on that one. Okay,
I
you're not
should have
stupid.
started trying to investigate myself from the start. But I believed that they were
Well, it's because we're told we're supposed to trust them to do their
Hmm.
job and to do what they're supposed to do.
never again would I
That's
ever trust any one of them.
that's the thing is that at 90 pounds, out there in that cold, walking a distance of 10 miles, and for Lori, let's see, Alexa, 10 miles to kilometers, 16 kilometers, huh? Out in the
Mhm.
cold, 90 pounds. I mean, and I don't mean any disrespect or anything like that, but body temperature, that distance, I mean, that's walking at a pace of say 2 miles per hour. That's a 5 hour walk.
Yeah, and we had over 6 inches of snow on the ground at the time, also. Um, and he hated cold weather,
And what would be the purpose to walk that far though?
Yeah,
right?
Just
exactly.
to do that? Like that doesn't
That's
make sense. Was
no, it
was
doesn't.
where he found, was it a significant area to him? Like did he
No,
frequent it?
nope. We checked even the areas that he frequented outside of the 5 mile radius they told us to stay in. We still went and searched those if they were close to that 5 mile radius. Um, that was not an area that he hung out in, or
Yeah, so
and
to do that, I just can't see why that would even be a logical thought in the police's minds. Just
No.
we have 2 acres at home. If you're gonna do something like that, why not go back to the field?
Yeah, exactly.
Then you're not out walking 10 miles in that cold, and I don't.
Um, Kevin's asked, did the authorities document any tire tracks or other footprints? So there were some footprints, but they said that they were covered with snow and they couldn't. They they said they were buried under snow and if I understood correctly, Jennifer, they weren't able to track them.
Yeah, that's what they said. But even by the time we found the correct scene, we followed the footprints. There was also a car that was stuck in the snow not far from where Alex was found on the trail.
Interesting.
The the story about the car is in the city police reports, but the story didn't add up to me. They found a male and a female that claimed ownership of the car. The female said that the male drove back and got the car stuck because he wanted to smoke weed. The male said that the female called him saying that she got the car stuck back there. He was not even with her at the time.
Two totally different stories.
And then there was apparently a tow truck driver who saw the car there 12 hours prior to either subject admitting that the car was stuck there. Like they said it was stuck there the night before, but there was a tow truck driver that said they saw the people with the car 12 hours prior to them saying they got it stuck there.
Have you, if you don't mind me asking, have you ever thought about a GoFundMe to try to raise money for a private investigator? I know what you had mentioned about, exhuming. Um, has that ever been a thought? Are you familiar with GoFundMe and that platform?
They did a GoFundMe to help with his funeral.
Gotcha.
Um, Somebody had suggested to start a PayPal, some similar to GoFundMe, I guess, but less fees. So I did start that a few days ago.
Okay. Would you mind sending a link to that in an email? You don't have to do it now, but and it's something that I can add into the description for this video at a later time for anybody who might watch it and might want to go out there and donate.
As soon as I can figure out how.
I can try to help you walk through that. So we can do that. We can do that off air, at some point, and I can try to walk you through that to help you to get the link um, and send it out and everything. So yeah, you've got a technology guy here, so I'll help you how I can.
I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Anytime. That's what it's about. I mean, the sad thing is again, the media, for instance, they cover what gives them the big ratings. I mean, that's why, with I'm not sure, well, with Gabby Petito's case, you know, in order to keep that going, they would put out the smallest things, and this is just being very facetious here because it wasn't legit, but
Yeah.
oh, Christopher Laundrie stubbed his toe today.
Yeah.
Anything to keep that going when they could be using that time, for other cases.
Yeah, but she wasn't transgender either.
True. And that's another shameful thing because she's, human. And
Yeah.
that's the sad thing is that, the way people treat people of different orientations and lifestyles and things, it's terrible because it's not anybody's place to tell another person that,
I don't know. I think we got to make some noise on this because I think she deserves to know
Yeah,
100% if it was suicide
you,
or
you
if something else happened.
you deserve as much closure as you can get in this situation.
I've had, since I started making posts on Facebook, I've had several people message me or something stupid. You're just not happy you didn't get the outcome you wanted. No, my kid's dead. That's not an outcome that anybody wants.
No.
But how do you just write the child off and say, we don't care. We're just going to call it suicide because that's the easy way out.
Greg makes a very valid point here in the chat. Greg said, I noticed in one of the pics he had a four-wheeler. If he wanted to go out and harm himself, why not take that? As opposed to
Yeah,
walking 10 miles.
I bought him a Subaru Legacy. The car was left here. He had the four-wheeler. He had a side-by-side that he could have taken out. Lots of options.
Yeah, that just doesn't make sense to go 10 miles
No.
away just to do that. That doesn't make any sense.
In
Now, is it?
all honesty, he was rough with the four-wheeler because it was a manual. So he might not have gotten really far on the four-wheeler.
Gotcha.
But
The whole stick,
he
the
did.
whole manual thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He struggled remembering the clutch, but he did have other options that I don't understand why the car was left here. But
No.
routinely,
Did he have a fight with his girlfriend or anything major happen?
no, we checked into that. She was at work when he left home and worked. I got to check my journal for sure, but it was around 3 a.m. before she got off work. They had plans to go out on the 4th. And that's why she showed up here, because he quit answering the phone the night of the 3rd, and she was confused. But all the text messages between them were all good. When we tried to do a recovery on the phone for any deleted material, there was nothing that was deleted between the two of them.
Okay.
Because that was one assumption, was that, well, maybe they had an argument, so he took off, but he had an ex-girlfriend that It was a horrible relationship. And she would still try to do things to get his attention. He did mention in one of the notes that she had again done something, and he was tired of her messing with him. She would just randomly get a hold of him or have her mail still sent here.
Oh, wow.
And he just wanted to be free of that.
Sounded toxic.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Wow. Sorry, I'm editing some things out here. Editing the description to put the link to the Facebook group. So that people can access that. And just trying to get to, let's see. Trying to edit some things to hopefully get this video further out there. What happened is just terrible and inexcusable. Kevin made a comment out there. I'm going to get to that once I close this box here. There we go. And these character limits can sometimes be ridiculous. Just one moment here. Okay, so let me save. Kevin made a comment and said the secrecy and non-cooperation from the local police is not acceptable. They are hiding something, it seems. Yeah, it sure seems that way.
That's my feelings. I just would like to know what they're hiding and why.
Yeah.
Is it simply because they didn't assist while he was missing? Is it because they know it wasn't suicide, but they didn't care about the kids, so they didn't do anything? Is it more? I
Greg says I
just
have so
have no
many.
idea.
Oops, sorry.
Go ahead.
Greg says I have so many questions, but I think he meant, oh, don't want to overbear. He doesn't want to overbear you.
It's okay.
Okay. All
I'll
right. So
answer them as best I can.
go on and shoot those questions out, Greg, and anybody else who's listening. And we had discussed with Jennifer before if there's anything that she doesn't feel comfortable answering or anything like that, that just to that she is under no pressure, and just only answer what Jennifer, again, only answer what you're comfortable with. If it's something that's if it's something that would be a triggering question or anything like that, just don't hesitate to say I'm going to have to pass on that. Okay.
Okay.
So Greg says, what did they say about when they found him on the scene?
What did they tell me? Or I eventually, actually, a friend of mine found, I think it's Broadcastify, where you can go back and listen to the scanner calls.
Mm-hmm.
LPD initially was calling it out as a homicide. That's the city
Wow.
police that initially had the scene. They initially told me that they did not know that there was no obvious signs of trauma to him. So we had to wait for the autopsy to even know what he died from, which was an obvious all and out lie. But initially, they also told me that he was found on a softball field. He was found miles away from the softball field on a trail. So that's kind of a confusing one.
Yeah, that's for darn sure. Do you know if it's possible? I'm not familiar with Broadcastify too much. Is it possible to download prior streams of the scanner audio, do you know?
I think so.
What date would be
I know I've listened to him.
what date would be the one to check for that again? I'll try to look into
It
that and
was
see.
it was February 9th,
Okay.
and it was right before 1 p.m. that he was initially called in.
Okay, and that was of this year?
hmm
Okay. Kevin is asking, do you have an attorney that could at least help you with the freedom of information, like the body cams and stuff like that, and request to obtain reports and investigation or
I
investigative
did
documents?
I did hire an attorney. Um, they said that all they can really do is file what's called a tort claim,
Mhm.
which I'm still trying to understand all of that.
You said tort?
Yeah,
Take a look at this
and
here.
I know notice had to be given to the county within, I think it was 180 days, so they were given notice.
Okay. I'm just looking this up right now. So, tort, a wrongful act or an infringement of a right other than under contract, leading to civil legal liability. I'm going to take a look and see if I can find a legal definition for the tort claim.
And I've read through several documents, but I'm still not
Yeah,
100% sure on what all it is. I do know in the papers they sent me, they made sure to demand that no evidence, including body cams, photographs, uh, were lost or deleted.
wow. Hi
So
there, Nikki.
if okay, so you said you have a GoFundMe started, and that is for what again? Was that for a private detective or investigator?
I
For
think,
a variety of things. A friend of Alex's had suggested to start a PayPal. Ah,
Oh, right, yeah, the PayPal thing, right? That's right.
yeah,
yeah.
it's supposed to be similar to GoFundMe, I guess. Um, for a private eye and hopefully go towards Alex's headstone as well.
Awesome. Okay.
Do you happen to know that I'm trying to search for PayPal crowdfunding, um, but do you happen to know the name? Because I might be able to search it. Um,
Let me see.
I mean, I can try to search for Alex VanDalsen and see if anything comes up there. I didn't even know that PayPal had a crowdfunding.
I didn't either.
Okay,
Let's see.
because I might be able to hunt down the
I
links.
can pull it up on my PayPal, but not sure how to share it. Oh, wait, share.
There you go. If you could email that,
Oh,
um, or I can try to search it. I'm just looking for a search box on this page. Like if you have the name of the account, perhaps.
it's Alex VanDalsen is the
Okay.
trying to copy. Here we go. I should be able to email you the link.
Or if you want to put it into our messenger chat, that would be fine. I can access that really quick and grab it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna load up Messenger. I think that just came through, so I'm gonna grab that. Okay. There we are. Perfect. I'm going to put that out in the chat here momentarily. For anybody who's watching who might like to donate, This is the link for the PayPal pool. That's what they call it. So there you go. So Kevin says, yeah, I had checked it, Kevin. It looks like it looks like they do. I had just searched it. I didn't even know that they had a fundraising program, but they actually do, surprisingly.
I wasn't aware. One of his friends suggested saying that it doesn't take as much fees as a GoFundMe would.
Hey, beautiful. Would you be able to address the questions? I'm going to go and add this into the description really quick, and I won't be able to see the chat, but it looks like there are some other questions out there.
Greg said, was it snowing or had it snowed?
We had probably 5 or 6 inches of snow on the ground, and it snowed again a few days later.
Welcome, Nikki. Kevin said, it sounds like there needs to be an internal investigation from outside authority like the FBI on why they gave you such, I don't know how to say that word, erroneous misinformation on so many.
Erroneous.
That's it. There you
Probably
go.
erroneous.
Information on so many levels.
I filed a complaint with the Indiana Civil Rights Division. They told me that they don't investigate police departments. Referred me to the United States Department of Justice. So I filed a complaint with them. So far, haven't even managed to get a call back.
Oh my goodness. How long ago has that been, if you don't mind my asking?
That would have been end of July, beginning of August,
Oh
because
my goodness.
the Indiana Civil Rights Commission took quite a while to finally get back to me. But as soon as they did and told me that they don't investigate police, go to the United States Department of Justice, I did that day. So that would have been the end of July, beginning of August, but I haven't heard anything from them either.
So Kevin was saying that it might be good. I've not heard of this platform, but it's called Gifts and Go, and he said that there probably would be less fees out there for that one. Greg says there was no signs on the scene of harm, so no blood or he's trying to say this respectfully. Um, the body matter and things, and
We honestly don't know a lot about the scene. They've lied so much.
yeah.
From what we can piece together in the report, he was found he was laying flat on his back, legs straight out, but his ankles were crossed. He had his left hand inside the hoodie pouch and the right hand in the same area, but one officer described it in the pouch as well. One described it laying on the hip area. Their story that there was no obvious signs of trauma was an out and out lie. All the reports say that they all witnessed the gunshot wound at the scene.
Wow.
Okay, I have a question. You said the right hand, you said they told you was either in the same pocket, but on the right hand side, or it
Yes.
was like on his hip.
Yeah.
And
There's
he was a
different
right-handed person,
descriptions.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so if he would have done this, he would have used his right hand. If he did this, how would it end up in his pocket?
Well, and it depends on which officer you listen to as to which story.
Yeah.
Without actually seeing the scene or the photographs, I can't say which officer is which. But that was definitely one of my questions. How did his body end up laying flat back peacefully with hands at his basically stomach area, hip area, ankles crossed.
Eh,
Supposedly, he was wearing a beanie, which he almost always wore. Um, but supposedly, everything was contained inside that beanie, which, if you have a gunshot wound to the head, that doesn't seem plausible to me. And again, that's just one story, because months down the road, when I kept searching for his belongings, they ended up telling me that, oh, well, the coroner's office would have burned them. Why did we do that? Why did I not get the option to have his stuff back?
yeah, exactly.
Their story was that, well, their families don't want that kind of stuff back.
I'd have to beg to differ with that. Usually those personal belongings have a lot of sentimental value. That doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense. Doesn't
I
make
could
any sense.
understand not giving it back to the family if it was something that had happened to the clothing, like it was destroyed because of the crime or whatever the case may be. But if they said that it was all contained in the beanie, then there was no other problems, right? Because there was nothing on his body.
That was what I thought.
So that's
But
weird.
Um,
add it to the list of odd.
you know, and this is just my mind thinking, and I'm trying to approach this as delicately as I can, but it almost sounds as though, um, I mean, everything sounds suspicious about this, but it sounds as though that somebody could have taken Alex out there, um, gone through with the act, and then placed placed Alex's body in the position that it was in to make it appear as though it was something else. Because with you mentioning that the wound, the supposed entrance wound was larger than the exit wound, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. They also claimed that the handgun found at the scene was under him, which most officers claimed they saw it initially. I think one claimed that they didn't see it until he was moved.
But
Wow.
again, how would it end up? Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking.
Yeah, I. To
I
me, the
read that
body's
part.
not going to be in that position.
Not cross-legged, like his ankles crossed, like a peaceful, like because that's what you like you said. You kind of think of that like as a peaceful position. You're just kind of chilling
Yeah.
back.
Just
I
and
just
who?
can't see that even making sense that the feet would even be like that if he had done that. I would think just that initial shock of everything to your body would just be enough to change that. That's my thought.
Um, Kevin was asking, what were the circumstances of him leaving the house? Did he receive any phone calls, or did anyone know about his leaving?
We did not. Um, my husband and I were both at work. He he was supposed to have started a new job that night, but he left around the time that he needed to leave to get there by 10 p.m.
Hmm.
But he came back about 10:30. He told his younger sister that they didn't have the paperwork ready for him to start, so he came home about 11 o'clock. He told her that he was tired and going to bed. So he went to his room. She didn't see him leave, but she assumed he was still in his room. She, however, had been outside after that for a while with our puppy.
Hmm. Um,
We didn't find any text messages or phone calls that would have prompted him to leave. haven't been able to find anything that suggested he was thinking about this in recent months, like considering committing suicide in recent months. His Google history, um, he was looking at rings, like he was going to get a ring for his girlfriend. He had just renewed his driver's license. It came in the mail right before he left, maybe a few days. He was supposed to start that new job the night of the 3rd. He was also looking at doing DoorDash and had ordered I guess a debit card that a lot of people use for that. It came in the mail right after he was found. He got a couple of voicemails on his phone about some college submissions. He had inquired within a few days of leaving. He had inquired about some different colleges.
Doesn't sound like somebody with suicidal intentions at all. It sounded like somebody with some plans for the future.
It seemed like, I mean, we know he had depression. He went to Alpine for therapy. The year before, he had went to Sycamore for help, but all indications in recent months was that he was planning what to do next.
He was planning
with
the future.
life.
Yeah, planning his future.
Yeah.
Not as, yeah. Nikki asks, was his hand tested for gun residue? And I think if I remember reading the email correspondence that they said that they don't test for it.
Yeah, they said that it's not admissible in court, so they don't bother.
Wow.
But they could have tested his hand, and that would have given us a better indication. They could have also tested his clothing, which they did not bother to do either.
Would have answered some questions.
Could have.
Kevin says, based on what you've shared, it was clearly not suicide. Yeah, I feel the same exact way. I'm not going to speak for her, but I'm pretty certain Lori feels the same way. He said, have you tried reaching out to your federal congressmen or senators?
I've tried emailing and calling some senators. I actually even tried some LGBTQ groups. So I know they've got some ties with legal areas, and most of them, I never gotten anything back from any senators or any indication that they cared.
I'm sorry.
The LGBTQ groups that I reached out to, I got email responses from them that they couldn't help me.
Wow.
One directed me to either file the tort claim on my own or find an attorney to file it. So we did eventually find an attorney who said, oh, yeah, of course, for this much money, we'll file it. But that's pretty much your only option. It's like, there's got to be some sort of options there. Like, this case just does not make any sense. It doesn't add up. They said, oh, we can make this determination in 3 hours and be done and call it quits.
Wow. That's no, just listening to everything, and I don't have any experience in the legal field, but there's so much that does not add up to this. I mean, somebody who was planning a future. I mean, I've struggled with depression myself. I do at times. However, I have plans for the future, and when you have plans for the future, you aren't planning for an end. And it just, and then with the different stories from those who were on the scene, the different stories um, from the people who left the car out there. The fact that they said he was found in a place where he was not really at. Um,
Yeah,
um, Kevin was asking who was the owner of the gun that was used, but you said they didn't even check for that, correct?
correct. The only thing that they did with the weapon was check to see if it had been reported lost or stolen. They did not check for ownership, which they could have, but they didn't even bother to. I mean, you find a gun, the first thing that you should do is clear it.
Right.
But there's no notes as to the fact that they cleared it. There's no notes saying that it had a magazine, it didn't have one, it had live ammo. There's nothing. They just simply said, we stuck it in a box, we took it back to headquarters, and we ran it to see if it was lost or stolen, and that was it. When I asked why they didn't try to find out where the handgun came from, they said that I told them that he took it from home, which was an all out lie. I told every officer that we checked our gun safe. It was still locked when I came home. Alex did not have the code. I'm currently the only one in the house that has the code. I verified that our guns were still in the gun safe and all were accounted for.
Just messed up. I'm really sorry because it sounds like you were done a really huge injustice in this situation, and Alex as well. I mean, you're not being allowed to have the full extent of closure that you can have. Um,
Yeah, Alex at least deserves for us to know what happened.
exactly. Did they mention anything about like fingerprinting the gun or
They didn't
anything
do
like that?
anything.
Oh my gosh, that would have
They
answered a
didn't
lot of
test the weapon.
questions.
They didn't even test to see. They didn't even check to see if the gun had been recently fired.
Oh my
We have no
gosh.
idea if it. We have no idea. The
Kevin
only
was
thing that
asking.
they
I'm sorry.
did claim to do. Sorry. The only
No,
thing
no,
they
you're
did
fine.
claim to do was search with a metal detector for a shell casing for 2 hours, and they couldn't locate it.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I know, like I said in the autopsy report, as we discussed earlier too, it said that the bullet was not able to be found. It doesn't make any sense. Kevin asked, how big is the community where you live?
We live just in the county. Um,
Hmm.
I mean, Lafayette as a whole is a fairly decent sized city.
Yeah, let me take a look. I can find the population really
And,
quick. Just one
yeah,
moment. I'll save you the trouble there. Um,
we're right next to West Lafayette, which has Purdue campus. Purdue's pretty well known in West Lafayette.
as of 2019, it appears that the population for Lafayette was 72,581 people. So it's a bit larger of a city. It's definitely exceeds the standard population for a town. So yeah, it's a bit larger of a city.
Yeah, it's not a real small area.
Mm-mm.
We we live out in the county, and our neighbors were all very helpful. They were sending their kids out on snowmobiles, four wheelers, helping search fields, wooded areas.
They were more helpful than the ones who should have been helping.
Yes,
It's a
Yes, by
shame.
far.
It's a shame on the Lafayette Police Department and the investigators. I mean, they really should be ashamed of themselves. They totally dropped the ball on this.
They think they deserve respect, but they don't do anything to get it.
No, respect has to be earned.
So, with everything that you've discussed and that, what kind of help do you want us to give you? Because we could help you with the group if you want. We could help share out your PayPal thing.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure people in the chat will do the same.
Yeah, and that information is now in the description, both the group and the link for the fundraiser. And I'd be glad to share those out on my Facebook. I mean, I don't have like a lot, but when people start sharing, we'll share this video out as well so that they can get background information on this. This needs to be resolved. What was done here was wrong.
I agree.
I'm so
And
sorry that you've gone through this.
I appreciate everything that you all are doing.
And we're glad to. The story deserves to be told, and you didn't get the opportunity to tell it. I mean, you were done wrong by the agencies that are supposed to be there to help.
I don't get why. I don't understand why you would want to be in that field if you don't care to help people.
I totally understand that, and I've seen individuals in other fields, the medical field, other places, and you can tell that they're there for the money. They don't care about the people, and that's what it should be about. But it's rather unfortunate that that's the way that it is.
Yes.
Yeah, Kevin says there needs to be a proper investigation done. I totally agree. If you all wouldn't mind doing a favor, no pressure or anything like that, but those of you who are listening, if you would go to the description um, and share this video out so that the story gets out there, but also just you know please note for individuals to check the links in the description so that they can they can help to contribute to this by joining the group and by gathering around, because this is a huge injustice that was done here. I gotta see if let me see here. I had shared this out before editing the description. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and post this over on my personal Facebook and update the page with the description as well. Something has to be done about this. It's
Nikki wants
inexcusable.
to know if your son even owned a gun.
No, he didn't.
And no guns were taken from the house.
Correct. All of ours are still accounted for. I've got one that I inherited when my dad passed away. I
What
kept
about
because
his
it was
girlfriend?
his. No, she didn't either.
Promise you guys I'm not texting. I'm just sharing this
So the
over on
gun
my
at the
phone.
scene was not his gun. It's safe
Correct.
to say.
Yep.
Please share the links in the group. Also, I'll be making calls to Indiana's governor and others to do what I can. Maybe others can do the same, is what Kevin said.
Yeah, I've been at a loss as to what else to try.
That's understandable. I mean, again, when the agencies who should be helping aren't, and they're totally dropping the ball.
Yeah, it's like hitting a brick wall every turn I make.
Yeah,
And then when I reach out and somebody says, "Yeah, I'd love to help," and then they just disappear. I get hopeful that, okay, like, I'm going to find out something, and then it's going.
Now, Lori and I, we don't have, any experience in law or anything like that, but we don't intend on disappearing on you. We,
No.
we, we can help. We can help with the group if you'd like to, you know, so long as you're at a point where you feel comfortable with us. Um, I mean, I'm a hard one to work with, so. but if you'd feel comfortable with adding us on as admins in the group, if you'd like to do that, we can try to help with the group. And I'm I'm just okay. I'm gonna get ready to share this stuff out on my Facebook page. Um, but we'd be glad to help how we can there, so that it would take some of that off of your shoulders. I can, I don't know if there are security questions. I'll be sure to go and join the group after the show here. But
But as it is, it's already been shared to thousands and thousands of people. So, I mean, let's hope that we can get it out there and
get it to be
get
taken
some.
more seriously. That's what needs to happen. But we're definitely here for you, as much as we can be. I wish that I could help out, more from like a financial side. I'm definitely not in that position to do so, but I can help how I can. Lori and I can help together, how we can, and others here in the chat. Share this, at least in the least, share this video out so that you know people can hear the story.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would believe the story hearing it. Living it even seems like it's not possible to have happened.
Yeah, it's just totally crazy. Well, let's hope we get some answers and can find out some answers so that you can get some closure and have a true sense of what really happened to him.
I'm just getting a post out there, so don't mind my typing. It's just terrible. I'm so sorry for everything that you've gone through. There's no excuse for it.
Oh, I'm sure they have plenty.
Oh, yeah, these agencies, they typically do. And, you know, but they don't look at people as people. They're just case numbers in a lot of cases, and it's nothing short of shameful.
I'd also like to say too, if at any time you want to come back on and talk more about it, you're more than welcome to. Anytime you want to come back on.
Yeah,
Thank you.
anytime. That's one of the reasons that we do this channel the way that we do. Um, we want this to be a place where things like this can be discussed. I mean, we don't. I think we were running at about 450 something subscribers, but there are other people who watch these videos, and um, you know, we're going to try to get the word spread out there and let people hear your story, because it's what happened is just wrong. And the police department should be held accountable. The investigators should be held accountable.
One would hope they would at least learn not to do it again.
Precisely.
Totally agree.
Okay. How are you feeling? I know that this is. I'm sure this was a hard thing to discuss. And are you doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay. we really appreciate you coming out here and talking about this. I can't even imagine how difficult it has to be. I can't even imagine. But we're really glad that you were willing to come on here and talk with us about what happened and share your story.
Totally.
And we're not disappearing on you. So
I'm gonna be like everybody else.
Actually, if you want, you're more than welcome to stick around and hang out with us because
mhm.
we still have another part of the show to do. So if you want, you're more than welcome to stick around and throw your 2 bits in.
Oh, I think I've overstayed my time.
No,
Oh,
you
I
didn't. You didn't overstay. You didn't overstay. Please don't feel that way at all. It's totally okay. I hope I didn't cause you to feel that way with what I
No,
said. I really
no,
hope not. Okay.
no.
I just want you to know that we appreciate you coming out here because that's, again, I just can't imagine how hard of a thing that is to do. But no, you didn't overstay your time out here.
I appreciate you guys getting the story out.
We're glad to. Definitely glad to. Yeah, I've got it shared out there. I tagged you in it, hun. Um, so that, and it's public, so everybody can see it. And I put the description to the video in the comments of my post. So um, anybody who's connected with me out there, share that out. It will share everything. So the links to the PayPal account for raising the money, as well as the group, will all be available there.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. Just wish there was. I just wish there was more that I'd be able to do to help.
Oh,
Honestly.
this is a lot. This is a
Um,
lot farther than I've gotten in the last 8 months.
well, we're glad that we could be that for you. Kevin says, "Lord bless you and continue prayers for you and your family. Never give up."
Thank you.
Greg says he's going to look some stuff up and pass it to me um, to send you. Greg, I don't know if we're connected on Facebook, but if we're not, feel free to send me a friend request. I don't go out there and scroll on Facebook as often as I used to. I just pretty much use it for some groups that I manage, including the one that Lori and I, created together associated with this particular show. But I do use Messenger, and same for you, Jennifer. You're more than welcome to connect with me on there, um, and reach out to me and to Lori. Just keep that group conversation there in Messenger, and you can reach out to us anytime,
Thank you.
anytime. But we're not disappearing. I just want to continue to reiterate that you've had enough of that happen. Um, in the least, we can at least be here to be ears and help to share perspectives. If something comes up and you want to come back out here to talk about that, you're more than welcome to. Nikki says, medically, from what I am gathering, this couldn't be a suicide at all. Sadly, this kind of thing happened to another family that's also fighting for their child's justice, too. Law enforcement
That's
needs to step
horrible.
up. It is. It is. Um, but yeah, you're more than welcome to reach out to us anytime. And as this continues on, like I said, I'm going to go and make sure I'm going to put in a request to join the group. Um, and we'd be glad to help out there however we can. Um, and let me see here. Gotta find the right link here. And like I said, as this continues to develop, um, definitely be sure to come back out here. You can come back out here and talk about your experiences and what's going on. Wait a minute,
Okay.
I don't think I got everything in here that I wanted to. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh, somebody is. It's a raceway on weekends out there. It's sad because there was a there was a child a couple of years ago at an intersection about 3 miles away because of somebody wanting to test out how fast their car could go. I love you too, Adam. That there was a child in the back seat of this car, and the parents, that there was a crash, and the parents didn't survive it, and because of somebody just wanting to go on a go on a speed run, there was a little child that lost both parents in the situation. Just every time I hear those cars go by, I think about that incident because my boys and I and a friend were walking out from a Costco and we saw road flares and things, and later found out what happened. Just sad.
Yeah, it is.
But
Well,
yeah,
we have a missing person's video that I do every day for the show here that we play. We fixed it all up nicely for the viewers here so that it was easy for them to read. Um, we can play that right now, and Jennifer can decide if she wants to hang out or.
yeah, absolutely.
Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and go for now, but
All
No
right.
thank you
worries.
guys very much.
Anytime. I
Okay.
know it's kind of pushing about 1 a.m. over there. I think, right? Because you're on the
Yeah.
Eastern. Yeah. Well, sorry that we kept you awake so long.
Oh no, I'm usually still awake, but
Nikki asked,
Gotcha.
did she ever get the autopsy photo or the medical records?
no, I have the supposed autopsy report, but they
That's what
did
you
not
sent to
release
us,
any
correct?
photos. Yes.
Okay. They wouldn't even release photo. What the heck?
Don't
Well,
know.
um,
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
no, it
unless
doesn't.
there was more done than they said, why wouldn't they?
They don't like to share, apparently.
It sure sounds. Well, shame on them. Shame on them. But yeah, as this progresses again, and if you'd like to come out and share your experiences and just talk about what's going on, just reach out. I just joined the group. Lori's in there, and we'd be glad to help. Just please don't hesitate. Don't feel like you're a burden, anything else like that. But feel free to reach out to us, and we'll help how we can,
Right. Thank you very much.
anytime. And
Yes. Greg, I believe, is also in the group, in that
oh, good.
her group, I believe.
Yes, yes, yes. I believe he joined it too because he was looking at the posts and things in there as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I just started it. It hasn't gotten very. Haven't done a lot yet.
well, you just let us know how we can help, okay? And we will do what we can
Right. Thank you.
anytime. And I guess you just try to get yourself some rest if you can. And I know that well, I don't know, but I can only imagine how difficult even getting rest would be. It's been several
Yeah.
months since this happened, but you need closure, real closure.
That would be helpful.
Yeah. So
Well, I
please
think
keep.
we're going to try to help you get some closure
Yeah, if we
if
can,
we
we're
can.
going to do what we can. Yep. At least by sharing things out. Are you okay if we share this video in the group?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take care of that. And again, just please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And if we can help with the group, just let us know. And if you're not familiar with like creating admins and you'd like us to help with that, just let us know, and we'll be there to help however we can. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thanks again for coming out here and sharing your story. And you know, just please keep in touch.
I will. Thank you.
Anytime, and you have a good night, and try to get yourself some rest.
Yes. Take care.
Thank you. You guys too.
Thank you. Anytime, and you're very welcome. Bye.
Bye.
And Hun, I think what we'll do is switch over to Skype, and
Yes.
yeah. So I'm going to stop this call and then go and unmute my microphone over on Skype, and we'll return over there. So in the meantime, guys, we're going to play our missing persons video, and so please stick around. And the posters are all up on the Facebook page, which I did get placed at the top of the chat as a pinned post. So
Also, this one has music. So that's good.
oh shoot!
That's good. Wait, does it?
Well, no, it's still playing. I mean, we're still on. I haven't ended the messenger call, so I've got you echoing. Just a second. I'm gonna get off of the messenger call and go and get to Skype really quick. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay.
I'm back. My heart so goes out to her. That's terrible.
It is. She was. Like we were talking about earlier. I think you were in the conversation too, Nikki, about how messed up the system is.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Okay, so we're going to play this video all.
And after the video, when we come back, we'll talk about Cleo's updates. And we're also going to talk about a little baby that went missing when she was 3 months old that still hasn't been found. So
we will be back after the video all.
You got hurt, someone did you wrong. I can see it in your eyes, it's like your fire is gone. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you wanna talk, I'm right here, not gonna leave your side. Just feel free to open up when the moment's right. Across your face, it is written across your face. If you wanna go out, we can go out. You can hide away just for one night. But if you wanna cry, just let it out. I'm by your side now. Hold on a bit more, 'cause I know you only see the rain, not the rainbow. Deep down, I know you're strong. Give them hell, baby, prove them wrong. Just hold on a bit more, 'cause I know you only see the rain, not the rainbow. I know you'll get up again. Gotta stand up tall, I know you can be brave, brave, brave. I know you can be brave, brave, brave. I know we did you wrong, wish I could take your pain away. 'Cause I hate seeing tears streaming down your face. I know you're strong, won't feel this way for long, no. If you wanna go out, we can go out. We can hide away just for one night. But if you wanna cry, just let it out. I'm by your side now. Hold on a bit more, 'cause I know you only see the rain, not the rainbow. Deep down, I know you're strong. Give them hell, baby, prove them wrong. Just hold on a bit more, 'cause I know you only see the rain, not the rainbow. I know you'll get up again. Gotta stand up tall, I know you can be brave, 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 brave. I know you can be brave, 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 brave. If you wanna go out, we can go out. Brave, brave, brave. We can hide away just for one night. Brave, brave, brave.
And we are back, everyone. And for those who are coming in, we just had a lengthy interview with Jennifer VanDalsen about the mysterious death of her son Alex VanDalsen. She was very much let down by law enforcement. Just a terrible situation. I really encourage you to go back through and listen, and please share this video out, as in the description. We have links to a group that she's created, Justice for Alex Blake VanDalsen, and there's also a PayPal crowdfunding link there. They're trying to get justice. They were severely let down by the police department. It's absolutely terrible. So please be sure to share that out and check out the description of the show. And for anybody who's watching, please go out there and share your support. Just a terrible situation.
For sure. So, we'll talk about Angel Nichole Overstreet. The article says, Dad claims he gave missing newborn daughter to social services. No one can find her. I guess she went disappearing. Did you want to read it, or do you want to?
I've got to go and find the. Did you send it to me in Messenger?
I believe I did.
Okay, let me go back here and look. Oh wait, and here's the poster. Let me grab that first. I'm going to put that up on screen, and then what I will do is share the article link. Yeah, here's the link. So, just one moment. I'm going to go into studio mode and get that scene ready for us. Just so saddening.
So that was the show I was talking about yesterday that I couldn't really talk about because I didn't really have 100% confirmation.
Right.
But that was the one.
Here we go, guys. This is a missing persons poster for Angel Nichole Overstreet of Huntington, West Virginia. Last seen May 8th, 2021. Angel was 3 months old at the time of her disappearance. She has blue eyes, dark colored hair with a reddish tint, and a strawberry shaped mark on the back of her neck. She was in the care of Shannon Patrick Overstreet, 38. And I'm going to leave that up there. I'm going to grab the article here. Hopefully the link is not too long. I don't know. I've shared links from Crime Online before out here, and they seem to fit the description. So let's see here. There we go. All right. This let me find the tab here now. The title of this article: Dad claims he gave missing newborn daughter to social services. No one can find her. A West Virginia, Kentucky man says he gave his missing baby to social workers, but police say they have no record of that. Shannon Overstreet, 38, is the dad of 3-month-old Angel Nichole Overstreet. According to police, the newborn has not been seen since May 8th. Authorities arrested Overstreet on Monday for felony malicious wounding and a battery charge stemming from a previous unrelated incident. Now I'm gonna open up a tab there. Let's I want to see if this article gives context on that. I don't think that it does. So there's a link here for the previous incident. So we're gonna take a look at this really quick. Or maybe I should do that after completing the article and get some more context. But while questioning Overstreet about his daughter, he claimed claimed, just keep that word in mind, because there could be a lot of angles to this. He claimed he turned the baby over to Children's Protective Services, and Children's Protective Services is another key word. I don't have anything good to say about them from my experience. Huntington Police Chief Ray Cornwell said during a Monday press conference that social services said the baby wasn't in their custody. The Herald Dispatch reports. Mr. Overstreet was located here in Huntington and came to police headquarters here on May 24th, Cornwell said. He had stated to CPS previously and to our detectives that he had relinquished custody of the child 2 weeks prior to CPS from West Virginia. Child Protective Services from West Virginia has no knowledge or record of any transfer of custody of this child. Continuing on here. CPS reported Angel missing on Monday after investigating a custody battle involving Overstreet in Kentucky. Cell phone records indicate that Overstreet's last known custody time with the baby was in early May. Detectives executed search warrants for Overstreet's vehicle, his mother's house in Huntington, West Virginia, and his residence in Kentucky. Investigators are in contact with the infant's mother, who is not considered a suspect in her child's disappearance. Angel, described as a white infant with blue eyes and dark red hair, she has a strawberry-shaped birthmark on the back of her neck. Meanwhile, Overstreet remains behind bars at the Western Regional Jail on a $100,000 cash bond. Police didn't call Overstreet a suspect in the infant's disappearance, but added that they were extremely worried for her safety. Check back for updates. I'm going to jump over here to this other article to kind of give a contextual background, if it does provide that, pertaining to, well, may not get that. Let me see here. What did this link me to? Just one moment, all.
So she'll be turning, what, 9 months old next month?
I believe that would be correct. Timing is correct. Okay. So there is a link there. I'm just looking to see what the context was. Huntington, West Virginia. The search for a 3-month-old girl continues across state lines as police secured a search warrant. According to Kentucky State Police, they assisted the Huntington Police Department and the FBI in a search at a property in Carter County, Kentucky, that they say belongs to the baby's father, Shannon Overstreet. Overstreet was taken to jail on Monday, where he is currently in custody in connection with an attack on his own mother. According to the criminal complaint, the attack happened in March, but He was just arrested this week. Documents say Overstreet dragged his mother by the hair across the yard, upset and hitting her several times. He left her lying on the floor, and it wasn't until a few days later that she went to get treated at the hospital. My gosh. The complaint says she ended up having to get treated for a significant brain bleed. My gosh. He's not considered a suspect, but CPS has no record of the transfer of custody.
Well, that's weird. What the hell? So what the hell?
Exactly. I'm going to add this into the description as well. To make sure that that's properly resourced. My gosh, so he essentially beat the crap out of his mom. I mean,
Yeah, sounds like it.
wow.
I don't know. I'm kind of worried about what he did to the baby.
That's what I'm wondering. You know, at first, I mean, to be honest, when I first read that headline, my first thought was, oh great, CPS again. But it may not be on them. Did he really relinquish custody? It sounds like he...
And why wouldn't they say he did if he did?
Yeah. I don't know. That is so messed up.
For sure. So, I had an update for Cleo.
Yeah, let's see. Did you send that in Messenger also, hon?
No, because I closed it, remember?
Oh, right.
I don't know if we knew, but the police insist that Cleo's parents are not their target. I'm not sure if we knew that.
I don't think that it was completely clear. I know that the father was not. But yeah. So they've ruled out the parents, both biological and stepfather, correct? If I'm understanding correctly.
Well, it says they insist Cleo's parents were not their target.
Okay. I'm just getting the article ready. As far as what we've been reading each night for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I'm just working on grabbing the link here. And any other updates on any of the other cases, huh?
Not that I saw today, but you usually don't get too many updates on a weekend. Oh, just for a quick mention, but not to dwell. Apparently, no trespassing signs have been put up at the laundry house. So I'm kind of thinking they're all saying the same thing, and that's just leave them the hell alone.
Yes, agreed.
I do admit that they should have put them up sooner. However,
Yeah, they may not have thought about that, honestly. I don't know, with everything that was going on. And I'm sure that for a while when this started, they probably had a lot of anxiety about going outside. Okay, so would you like me to go into the story for this evening?
mhm.
Okay, so I just posted the link there in the chat for that. It's also in the description for anybody who's watching this in the replay. All of the links for the articles that we have covered are out there. This story is by a person under the pseudonym of Frank. Frank's sister Julia and nephew. Uh-oh. Are you still there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, Frank's sister Julia and nephew William Pemberton were murdered in 2003. Frank is now the CEO of Advocacy After Fatal Domestic Abuse, AAFDA. And these articles are from the UK. There's some really disturbing things in here as to what people have gone through, but it sheds a lot of light on things. So it says it's a center of excellence for reviews after domestic homicide and for specialist peer support. Frank helped ensure domestic homicide reviews, DHRs, became law and works with the Home Office to continually enhance the methodology. Since DHR started in 2011, Frank has been a Home Office appointed assessor of these reviews. He is a Home Office accredited chair for DHRs and trains others to undertake them. Frank is a member of the National Victims Panel, chaired by the Justice Minister, and was on the assessment panel for the recruitment of the first designate domestic abuse commissioner. I want you to know that when I ask him for a divorce, he will threaten to kill me, and I believe he will carry out that threat. This is a quote that's down here in the article. My sister told me this 14 months before she and her son were murdered by her husband, his father. 10 days before the murders, I was eating breakfast when my sister said, "I just want to remind you that he is coming for me." I stood up, taking my cereal bowl over to the sink, and said, "Don't worry, Julie. He won't do it while I'm alive." Then I drove 26 miles to work. Nearly 16 years later, I can still see her face giving away that she did not share my certainty. What's it like as a man to lose a sister or a daughter or a young person to domestic homicide? It touches the basest of instincts. We thought they would be safe while we were around. I meet so many fathers and brothers, part of whom got broken by these brutal acts, who feel such a deep, primordial hurt and regret. These men have become members of the exclusive club that no one wants to join. Men who are now concerned that society is not quite as safe as we were led to think it was. Men who wonder why they could not keep the women they love safe. Men who are baffled as to why pleading with the safeguarding agencies to help didn't work. Men who are deeply troubled by this. Men who know that other men brutally killed the women they love, perhaps knowing that we did what we are supposed to do when under threat, call the police, numbs the pain a little. Talking with other men helps. I have witnessed many men exchanging stories of brokenness, of frustration and regret, of bafflement and concern for the future. When men talk about this with each other, we build coping strategies. Domestic abuse permeates all of society. In my journey after double murders, the prevalence and um, gendered nature of domestic abuse struck me as profound. So, I know a bit now, but I did not Google domestic abuse when my sister first told me the truth about her marriage. I wish I had. That was a brief one, and that's why it's important for us to know these things, because we may have people in our lives who may be going through something like this, and it's important to look for those signs and watch out for those who are closest to us. I can't even imagine what that gentleman had gone through.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So we have 4 people watching. Anybody still here that talks in chat? If not, I'm sure that we could probably wrap it up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and thank you to the people who have.
Yes, most definitely. And please, we ask people to share out videos, but please share this one out. Get this story out there. Get Jennifer's story out there. There are links in the description again to the group that she created in the hopes of finding justice for Alex, and for the PayPal fundraising campaign, so that they can get on their journey for closure. So please take a moment and share this out, and also the missing persons posters. If you activate the pinned link at the top of this chat, it'll take you to our Facebook page, where you can share those. You can find other articles and resources. But we do appreciate each and every one of you who come out here, and kindly ask that if you enjoy the interaction out here, and and so forth, just please hit that thumbs up button, as it does help in growing this channel and exposing more people out in the YouTube ecosystem to these stories. And we greatly appreciate you doing that. We appreciate the interaction of each and every individual out here. To those in the chat who have been here tonight, thank you for, again, your kindness, and for just being so kind and loving and considerate to Jennifer. She was out here sharing her story that the media didn't give her the opportunity to share. And the sad thing is, there are more stories like this, where things like this have happened, and the media just didn't find it worthwhile to share it out there because it wouldn't get them the ratings that they're looking for, so they can continue to, continue to prosper. So we do appreciate each and every one of you. And from wherever you're watching, everyone, and whenever you're watching this, we do wish you a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening. And please come back and interact with us in future videos. We appreciate each and every one of you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.